Remember never to panic.
I wasn't. What were you panicking?
I was panicking because I've got like 3 internet connections here, 3, and none of them were working. And then I had to turn.
Oh no!
And then what happens was the computer blocks. So you got to turn the computer off, and then so oh, that's why I'm late. So that's the reason I'm late. So sorry to say I'm late.
It happens. Don't worry.
Let's start. Hi, Rashmi.
Hi.
I'm letting people come in. That's why.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm recording the event.
Good morning.
Hi, Philip. Hi, Paul. I'm recording the event so so other people can see it. I'm also putting this. Hi, Uni. I'm putting this on this YouTube channel that I've just created. So if anyone wants to see this again, they want to use it, whatever they can go down and get it. Okay. So again, today's topic is resilience. Everyone talks about resilience. It's there's a lot happening around us, whether it's internal conflict or external disruption. There's so much happening around us. I think the idea is, trying to understand how we can, in life, but also in business, as we know ourselves. I use myself as an example always, because I've been running this business for a while, and how many things happen along the way, from losing an important employee or an employee leaving, to COVID, to cash flow problems, and so many things happen along the way. And sometimes it just seems a bit overwhelming. But as an entrepreneur, this is where you're called to actually stand up and to be resilient, to be stronger, to look at the bigger picture. Because I think if you just get into the small details, sometimes you get so frustrated and you're struggling and so on. So in these 20 years of running this business, it started off as a small business. It's still small, medium-sized business regarding the turnover, but I've had to sort of grow up very quickly in this environment. So today we brought along Rashmi Sharma, and she is going to talk to us about resilience. And so it's going to be a very informal conversation, Rashmi. So you're going to be talking to me or talking to the group. If there's any questions, we'll ask you questions. And then I've also prepared a questionnaire. So if we've got enough people in the group, we'll go into breakout rooms, and then you go a little bit deeper and see what comes out of those questions. Okay, so that's always fun because it gives you the chance to speak and to actually understand better the topic. So without any more wasting time, let's go on to Rashmi. Rashmi Sharma, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you. I hope you won't mind my wearing a mask here. I have some problem in. So actually, when we talk experience, which was actually not a good one, like we were the whole pandemic, the COVID. So when the world was shut down, we started it. What was the one thing that we all hoping to have against this disease, this pandemic, this virus? What was the one thing we were all? Can you hear me?
It's a bit muffled. We can't hear the question, Rashmi. Are you?
The question is, that what was the one when we were going through the pandemic, this COVID-19, what was the first thing which were we expecting and hoping and praying for to get it so that we can fight?
Well, maybe to find the cure, to find an antidote to that virus.
Okay, so what that antidote actually do?
Cures.
And
I guess it solves the problem.
how?
So yeah, so it works by giving you a small amount of the virus so that your body learns to repel the virus when it comes in a bigger dose. So you learn through your body learns through its experience of receiving a small dose how to fight it, and then when you are overloaded with a virus, then your body knows what to do in order to fight it off.
Okay, yes, very good. So what is the one word we call for this ability that our body develops? What is the one word?
Yeah, it's resilience, isn't it?
Resistance, resilience.
Resistance, yeah. Immunity. We call it immunity against any virus, any disease, you know. So likewise, when we have some physical, it has been how we have been fighting the various diseases like smallpox, chickenpox, whatever, flu. There have been many kind of diseases earlier in the past, and we have all, have been able to face it, challenge, how? By developing immunity against that particular bacteria, particular virus in our body. And you say the process is just our body has to experience that virus first, and then it develops the resistance against that particular disease. And then we have the immunity. And now the world is open because we believe that the people have developed immunity against this COVID. And if there are any virus or COVID attack on us, our body is able to fight it. It will be mild. It won't be so, drastic for us, or not be very fatal kind of attack on us. So this we have been doing since, hundreds of years to develop physical immunity, to save ourselves from the physical attacks of viruses, negative aspects. What about our emotional well-being? What about our mental well-being? What kind of immunity is there? Is there any immunity for that? That when we have challenges of mental level, how to deal with? Is there anything that can stop us not to being anxious in that circumstances, not to be worried, not to go under stress? Can you think of anything that is there to help humanity so that they can? Were you able to hear?
Can you repeat what you just said? It went all funny. Rashmi?
I said, yeah. Can you hear?
Now we can, I think. So if you can repeat,
Okay, so
please.
I just talked about that is there anything we can call equivalent to immunity for the physical disease? We have immunity. What do we have for the emotional immunity? When we have the attacks of the negative emotions, we have worries, anxieties, panic attacks, we have anger, all that things come to us. Is there anything kind of vaccine, antidote have been developed that can help us at that moment?
Maybe to be present.
Okay, yes, good.
Maybe learning coping mechanisms.
Coping mechanisms, yes.
Or maybe just to practice just staying grounded and being, maybe as Gary was saying as well, being mindful of the situation, like mindfulness, basically.
Mindfulness, basically, yeah. So how does mindfulness actually helps us? It creates a resilience in our body, so our stress, any negative emotion is equal to the event giving rise to that emotion divided by our resilience. The denominator is the resilience, nominator is the event that is, giving us that kind of challenge or negative situation. And that result is our stress, panic, anxiety, anything, hopelessness, So the higher the denominator, the lower the value of the fraction. In the primary classes, we have learned this, the higher the denominator, the lower is the fraction, result of the fraction. So how we can lower the impact of all these negative events, circumstances that are happening to us? It is by increasing our resilience power. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, I've got a question for you, Rashmi. I got a question.
Yeah, please. Yes.
So when we speak about immunity, does that mean that we won't get this disease or we won't feel this pain or whatever? Is that immunity?
Immunity is yes, but we will have the pain, we will have the attack of the virus there, but it will not be a fatal one. Our body is ready to fight with that. And then it saves us. It is very mild and we can continuously go on. Like in the initial stages of waves of the COVID, when we did not have antidote, what happened to people? It was so risky that, like, so many deaths happened around the world. People lost their lives, lack of oxygen, but now people still having the attacks of this same virus. But the result or the disease, that attack is mild because our body is able to the virus. As Kennedy has already told that how does antidote works. So now our body knows how to fight with the COVID. And we have done with all the diseases earlier, we have been facing throughout the history of humanity, as far as the medical science development is concerned. So for the emotional things, we have the resilience. It is a virtue or an ability that makes us, capable of handling negative situations in a positive way. We are not afraid. We don't want to get escape. We don't become panic or fearful or suffer because we have to face hardships in our life. And this virtue gives us the wisdom that how we can change fear into courage and suffering into strength. And this can happen this is the knowledge and the wisdom of thousands of years. People have actually forgotten this. Many a times when we have hardships in our lives, what happens? Our pain can break us or make us wiser. When we have suffering, it can destroy us or make us stronger. And fear can also cripple us, or it may give us courage. It is through the resilience. It is the resilience that makes all the difference. So that is the inner ability, inner strength that helps us to become a resilient person or leader.
Let me ask a question.
Yes, please.
Let me ask a question. So why are some people more resilient than others?
There are few factors that affect it. One is the environment in which we grow up, the kind of people we have around us. If we have calm and strong people around us, if our parents or people around us are panicking, they are just for the thing we see people worrying too much, talking too much on their own, self-talk. Oh, now what I should do? So the child is observing and absorbing the kind of environment. So it is from the very beginning, from the childhood, how it comes from the adults. From the adults, a child absorbs the kind of behavior or emotional well-being or the strength that is there in the environment. So for the sake of our next generation, it is also important as an adult, it is our responsibility to develop resilience so that our next generation is automatically have some sort of resilience in them. Rather than getting panicky, they can have that calmness, a part of that calmness, which as an adult parent, we are developing in ourselves.
So what kind of characteristics can we see in a resilient person, a resilient business? What are the characteristics that come out?
Yes, of course, because we are talking in the business terms, so I will use the word individual or a person. I will call it a leader. There are two reasons for using that. One, we are into work environment. Whatever we are doing, whether we are working for an organization, we are solopreneur, in a partnership concern, a startup, we are leading an organization, a workforce, or our own work simply. So we are to become a resilient leader. Second thing is that on the personal view also, we are the leaders of our life. We lead it. We have desires. We want to take decisions to do, what not to do. So in a way, we are not puppets who are following the instructions of other people. We are the leaders of our own life. And together, the resilient leader or a resilient we can make an organization also a resilient organization. So yes, of course, as you asked, there are certain states we can have or we can develop to become. First of all, first thing is that adaptability. One thing is that we have to accept the change in the circumstances. That, of course, something with the most resistant we are to the change. If there is any change in the rule, policy, environment, there comes an automatic resistance. So first thing is that the challenge of change has to be taken because it is not an obstacle. What I can learn from the change in the circumstances. So that adaptability, what it is the adaptability, if you know the principle, adaptable species, they survive for a longer time. So adaptability is the most important skill that has to be, and we can learn it. Then the second thing is that the mindset is very, very important. The more positive, the more taking anything that is happening at us in a negative way, in a harmful way. What to do now? I'm going to finish now. So this is negative attitude. If we take it positive, okay, there is a problem, but there might be some solution as well to that. Let me look at that. How can it be turned into a solution? So resilient leaders, people, they take it as any challenge as an opportunity for their growth and the learning. Because everything that happens to life teaches us something. Even the COVID has taught us so many things. And then open-mindedness, So whatever approach, if somebody else is suggesting something, so have to be open-minded, not rigidity in their own solution, on their thinking. Consider all the available options and what that approach should be taken to the problem solving.
So these adaptability, accept change, the right mindset, open-minded. I mean, those are great words, and I think they're great. But when you're in a crisis, when I don't know, because COVID, we've lost more than half our business because of COVID. And obviously you've got your costs, and you've got your employees, and you've got a team that's running a business that's on 50% of its past turnover. So accepting change, the right mindset, and being open-minded when you're in a crisis. Give us an example of yourself, maybe when you had to be resilient, or your coaching business, or you had to be resilient to tough times. Give us an example of that.
Yes, of course, there are many examples that I can give from my own life. And during the COVID thing, there were very few people who knew the use of Zoom at that time when the lockdown happened and they were stuck to home. Unfortunately, because I was a member of ecology, so I have learned a little bit operations on Zoom. So I just thought of, okay, let me connect online through people. And there were many people who would like to understand how they can be online. And that not only gave me some kind of a sense of achievement, rather than getting panic about that, I was able to help other people as well for that. Had I gone into this thing, okay, now my business, of course, my business suffered for that. But I started to do something else that can made me, I get connected to more people that can be helpful in my future time. I made very good connection with the people during those periods of pandemic, in the 3 months during when everything was locked down. and I used whatever knowledge I had to share with people. So that was actually making an environment of positivity around other people and making the good use of my time. So everything was turning out, rather than going into, of course, it was a little bit troublesome for me in the beginning not to have that business, but still I wasn't, out of the way. I was just closed down. I was at least I was doing something that was going to help in my business later on. And it did help me.
Yeah, definitely being open-minded and accepting. So if we're looking at resilience, Rashmi, what kind of jobs, what kind of careers would require a resilient character?
I think everything, the most important skill of the 21st century, which builds resilience, is the emotional intelligence. That is the ability to understand your own emotions and to that of the other person in front of you. If you don't understand the 21st century is known to be the century of the people, humanistic relationships. So the more we are as a person, as a leader in an organization, are able to connect heart to heart with the person, we can have more positive results. We can help the other person to understand by understanding that person. So it helps us when we have emotional intelligence. It is very important skill. We understand the other person. We can, and then we can relate and increase the performance without any, negative impact of the relationship.
So we're connecting emotional intelligence to resilience. Is that?
Yes, yeah, it is very important because it is the ability to understand your emotions. How you understand your emotions without having emotional intelligence? And how will you control your emotions against the emotions, negative emotions of the other person? Suppose you are getting angry at me. If I don't understand the cause of your anger, I don't have any understanding of any emotion. I don't understand the cause. I'll just react to the same way. What will happen? But on the second scenario, I understand the cause of your anger and I talk about that cause. Rather than reacting, I respond to the cause. I try to solve the cause, which is behind that anger. So which scenario is going to result in a better relation?
So in connecting that to resilience, Rashmi,
Yeah.
because that's what we're talking about today. Today's topic is talking about resilience. So what do you think by being emotionally intelligent? Let's say, are you saying that we are more open-minded, more acceptance? We have more acceptance, and that's towards the resilient characteristics.
Yes.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, because instead of reacting, if you adopt the habit of responding and by understanding the other person, so you are building resilience against the anger, against the negative emotion of the other people. They are not impacting you because you are not reacting to emotion. You are understanding the emotion and the cause behind that emotion, and you understand your own emotions as well. That what's going in my mind. Should I do this or should I react this way or should I wait, pause, take a pause and respond in another way? It can happen only if I understand and am able to look at my own emotions. It's not unconscious living. It is a little bit conscious living. And then other thing which is important is grit. That continuity is important. So, we know about Thomas Alva Edison, that he had almost, it is said that 2000 attempts, he was failed to make a filament for the bulb. But he still continued and finally he was able to make that filament. So if we want something to achieve, our goal is something and we are passionate about doing something, so don't give it halfway. Not giving up is very important for your resilience.
So
If you are giving up, that will impact you negatively. So if you are continue, that grit is important. Hello?
Hello, Rashmi, how do our beliefs and our consequences, the situation where we are, how does that affect resilience? What we believe, where we find ourselves?
there are challenges in life, and if we are swayed away by, there is a weak stem, a tree with a weak stem. Even if not very hard wind, a small wind can shake that tree because the stem is weak. But if the stem is strong, even the storm cannot shake that tree. And if there is a wall, that will not fall away with the storm. We need a lot of great potentiality of trouble for that. So like this is, we can connect this to the resilience. The more resilient we are less impacted by the environment. There is no change going on to the environment. We will face pain, we will face anger of the people, we will meet negative circumstances, we will meet failures. But the thing is how I take it as into my life, how I understand it, and how I respond to that thing. That depends on my resilience. The more resilient I am, the more positive I can take these changes, which are actually very useful for my organization to make it as a resilient organization. Because I can help the people who are working in an environment that is a resilient environment. So nobody gets panic. We sit together and talk, we try to find out the solution or the alternative way. And also when we talk about a resilient organization, there are, of course, we have to be, long-sighted. We have to be visionary and to be able to connect with the all humanity around us, all the things that happen, all the stakeholders of the society, economy. And when we are open, we are in touch with those people. And we are, we have to understand that how they are responding. So it is basic, and then being decisive about taking decisions, and the strong. If you need to have some strong decisions, that ability, that strength as a leader, you must have. That okay, because that is good for the organization.
Let me ask another question, Rashmi. 1 minute. You're giving us a lot of information. We're getting too much information. I was looking at some quotes to be resilient, and there was one that I found was, I think the word failure is an important part of growth. Failure is an important part of growth. So does that mean we go looking for failure to grow? Is that what we should be doing?
No, not at all. Actually, if something happens, builds some resilience, makes me strong. That doesn't mean to go for looking it. Why? Because if I'm looking for, okay, I need to grow, I should face failure. That is the wrong way, the negative way of doing things. Okay, I am already positive. If I face a failure, I can take it as a lesson, add it to my growth. That is the point of it. I'm not looking, but I'm developing those are skills not to face failure in the future. Is there failure is by chance. I cannot invite failure in my life, because this is what I need to develop. Resilience against failure. It will not impact me negatively if there is a failure, if I have experienced a failure.
So can anyone be resilient, or are we just talking about brave people? I mean, can someone be not a brave person but still be resilient?
Yes, everyone. Even from the childhood we can start. It's a start. As early as you start is good. Because what happens? A child is actually born resilient. The environment makes it like that. When we say, oh, you have your exam, you're wasting your time. Parents, teachers, what the child is, oh, exam is something to be feared. I'm anxious. He develops anxiety around the word exam. And that's continue in our whole life. Whether we have to go for an interview, oh, there are some butterflies in our stomach. We have to give a speech, we have to give a presentation. It never ceases to be there. So we can start from the very childhood. And there are, first important thing is, as you already mentioned in the beginning, people, that self-awareness. The first key is to become self-awareness. What's going inside you? Without knowing what is impactful, positively impacting, what is negatively impacting, and what exactly is there. I am feeling my emotions, what my thoughts are there, what actions I take. What are the basis of my decision? If I do not know myself better, I will not be able to develop resilience, because only by knowing it that I know that what is the weed that I have to take it out from my mind's garden, put it away.
I was just visualizing the word resilience, and I was trying to think of a synonym for the word resilience, and I couldn't just come up with one, but I tried to imagine what that word means, and it came to me like this this picture of a bamboo tree, you know, the bamboo that just sways, that doesn't break, it bends, it moves, and it just, you know, it flows, but it doesn't break. In a storm, it will still be there. I think maybe that's what I'm, you know, I'm thinking in this moment of resilience is like that. It's not actually strength against strength. It's taking the blow. It's like, you know, taking it into you somehow, and weaving and accepting and flowing and all that. So I don't know, is that something that comes to you as well as the word resilience?
Yes, and while we talk about developing more resilient, just imagine that bamboo tree that is, you know, expanding in circle. Looks like it's becoming thicker and thicker and thicker, like banyan tree. The stem becomes banyan tree. What will happen? Will it sway all the time? If you see, the stem of the bamboo increases around, and it becomes as thick as the banyan tree. So do you think it will sway? Every kind of wind can sway that bamboo?
So
Are you able to?
have I understood the question? So as a bamboo, it sways and it moves and it's flexible, and so it's more resilient, I suppose, more not resistant, but more resilient, because it's able to modify itself. But as that bamboo becomes a tree, is that what you're saying? Does that tree still move, or is it more stable? Is that your question?
Yes, exactly.
And is the question, so is the tree resilient? Is that what you're saying, or not?
No, I'm just saying that bamboo, the main qualities of bamboo remain same, but its stem just thickens up a little more, expands. So it becomes more powerful, being flexible and more powerful, more stable. The more resilience we add, the same thing happens.
Okay. So the more resilient we become, the more stronger we become, but we're also more flexible. Is that the word? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Flexible and
we remain flexible, but the minor things don't impact us. The minor things don't impact us. We don't think about, because we are so calm. It disturb our mind at that moment.
Okay, brilliant. Listen, we've just gone past the half hour. So what I want to do is I've got a questionnaire. I put you into breakout rooms. Have a look at those questions, talk in pairs, and try to understand this. What I've understood is flexibility and strength equals maybe resilience. I don't know if other things come out or not. So I'll put you into breakout rooms. Have a look at those questions. And then we'll come back after like about, let's say, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, and that will give us still 10 minutes to share our takeaways. Okay, so what I'll do is in the chat, I will put, 1 minute, let me just get that, and I'll put it in the chat. Just copy that. Go up here in the chat. Please tell me if it arrives, and then I'll it's a resilience questionnaire.
Yeah, it's there.
That's arrived. So I'll put you into rooms and then just go over that for like 10, 15 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll share our takeaways on this topic. So let me go into breakout rooms. So let me just stop here 1 second. This one here. Breakout rooms. How many people? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's let me just prepare this. All right, we're all set. Should be going through them now. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I think those internal factors and external factors that push us to be resilient and to continue. I think that's the word. To the ability to cope with those little knocks, those little setbacks, and still go on. I think that's resilient. What about you, Gary? Do you have an example of when you were recently resilient in a tough situation?
Oh, I guess it's happening all the time. So, yeah. So, just a small example is that I was without a paid position for a long time while I've been in China, and eventually I decided to approach the director of the school and told him where I was at and what my skills were, and told him what I didn't want to do. But the resilience came, and that is that I was confident in being myself. And it's taken a while for a job offer to come through, but it is now come through. And that what I was drawing on was times in the past when I things haven't gone exactly as I planned, but eventually something has turned up by just keeping on doing. And so I just believed that something would turn up if I kept on doing what I thought was the right thing. And so I didn't try to do things that I didn't enjoy, didn't want to do, wasn't happy doing. And eventually something happened. And so I guess that's part of my resilience, is I knew something would happen. And I was pleased with that.
Exactly. That's giving you more confidence in yourself as well, and to know that maybe that's what you did and you got the result that you were looking for. And so it's again building up those blocks to make you stronger.
Yeah, it was confidence in my own in my own core values. That I wasn't going to defer from those, and I could have done. Brilliant.
So we're coming to the end. I'd like to just what are you guys taking away? One word, I don't know, something very short, because we don't have really a lot of time, so I can finish on time. So Philip, what a word that's that resonates with resilience or continuity? What are you taking away?
Yeah, so I think maybe flexibility is the word I'm bringing with me, let's say. That I understood, if I understood Rashmi correctly, that we have to be kind of flexible and ready to kind of sway with the wind. And that also I'm going to take with me that it starts really early, this work on resilience. Brilliant.
Paul?
Philip's stolen my word. I'm unhappy.
Oh well.
So I'm going to go for just what comes up for me is mindset. It's all to do with mindset. It's I mean, just quickly, I mean, in the group we had, there was just the ability to look and adapt to the questions, and that was just mindset. It was just the way we looked at it. So yeah, I positive growth mindset, and also being honest with self. So lots of words there, Gary, not just one.
Yeah. Positive growth, and be honest with yourself and so on. Uni, what are you taking away?
I'm gonna say authenticity, like be flexible there and depending on something, but in the state of unconditional positive regards. That's what I said. Yeah.
Unconditional positive regards.
Yeah, like it's in the positive way, it depending, but be there, personal growth mindset, I would say. Yes, I think.
Growth mindset. Okay. Gary Kennedy, what are you taking away?
Confidence. By being confident in myself and my ability to keep on going, to rise above whatever's happening.
Brilliant. I'll just share what I heard an interesting thing from Gary Kennedy that said that we are already resilient if we are here. So sometimes it's not like you're looking at we're not resilient. We are resilient. It's just we have to understand how we got through those difficult situations, losses and so on, because we're still here. So just go back in the past, find that blueprint, and come back and try and use it again. In my case, it's looking at the business, we're down to 50%. But as Gary pointed out, that if you started from 0 and you got to 100, you got to 100, so you know the journey, how to get there, you know the path. If you're at 50 now, you just have to go back and find out, just try and understand when you were at 50, how did you get to 100? And do that again. So that's, again, resilience and also understanding. So that's what I'm taking away. Rashmi Sharma, thank you very much for your insights and your time and your knowledge. Talking about resilience. Next week, we're going to be talking about, one minute, just looking on the BEwell. I'm going to be trying to hold in this space for us to talk about business and mental well-being and so on. The next one is going to be talking about finance. There's a guy called Jamal Habib. I found him on LinkedIn because I try and find all my speakers on LinkedIn and I try to find their expertise and invite them to come and talk. And so next week, we're going to have someone, this person is going to come on BEwell at 0900 UTC, talking about finance in business, but finance also in life. So if you have any contacts, you want to bring people along, share this webinar, this information would be great. The more the merrier, obviously. Okay. So thank you again for being here and have a great day. We'll see you next week, hopefully.
Bye, everyone.
Gary, Rashmi, thank
Thanks,
you very much.
Gary.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Ciao.